Okay, so I just want to quick start a little video or show you a little video about how to use the opaque watercolors that I have here. I have my little Neurographic on the watercolor paper that you guys were using, and I have got now a paint palette and some water in one of these paint pucks. Please only carry them from the plastic cylinder. Don't carry them from the rubber bottom or the rubber top. You just got to carry them here in the middle so they don't fall apart. I have my opaque watercolors right here and some paint brushes that I have and a chunk of paper towel, which you're going to need. You can use the top, like this lid area, as your paint palette if you want to. There are different sets of the watercolors that you can use. This set has the second part of it on the bottom, which has your tertiary colors and some other neutrals. This has your primaries and some secondaries. Actually, all your secondaries. But they're all listed here, like yellow, orange, red. They're done in German because it's a German brand. They're a pretty slick, little nice paint quality. And I think these are nice to learn with because they are opaque instead of transparent. And transparent watercolors can be a bit of a bear, I think. I'm not a big watercolorist. So anyway, there are 8 sets that have the double trays because I used to have 8 table groups. Now I have more than that. But I would say the larger groups definitely get preference or priority over getting the larger 2 with the black bottom. Everybody can have a set that's got just the blue. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to load your brush. I'm not going to be as picky about color harmonies at this point because I just want to see what you know. So this is without instruction on color harmonies. But hopefully you'll look at your colors, and being in drawing and painting and in sculpture, most of you have had Art 1. I know there are a couple that have not that are with us anyway. And that's going to have to be fine. And I'm okay with that. But it is a prerequisite, so you should have learned about your color harmonies in Art 1. So show me what you know and what you have learned. This palette, what's nice about having a palette is you can just add a little bit of water with your fattest brush. The brushes are located over, oh, this brush is dirty. I'm going to dump that back in there, and I'm going to clean my brush because this brush is very dirty. That's no bueno. So if you find that your brush is dirty, clean it up. And you should actually have 2 containers of water. I'm just using 1. You should have a second that's totally clean for you to use to get your paints in here, but we're going to pretend. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this blue-green, and I'm going to put some in my palette to mix up my paint. I'm not going to paint directly from that. You can, but I want to mix. So I'm going to do that. And then I can paint directly from this to get a more intense color, but I can paint from this to get a less intense color, or I can change my color by adding a little bit of the white to it. This is your white. You don't want to add a ton, and I'm going to show you that I would just put a little bit, like a micro amount right there. See, it's the tiniest, it's like the size of a pimple, right? So then I can take some of that and add it in here and get a lighter value. It's the only reason I'm doing that. So you're going to use your watercolors in all of the little segments of your work. Something to remember. If you haven't used watercolors, it's something to know, and if you have, it's something to remember. Let them dry before you paint next door. Don't paint here and here until that's dry, or it's going to pull that watercolor into the other color that you paint. You might like that look, but if you're a little bit of a control freak like I am, you don't want to set yourself up to get that bleedy look. I am using this color. I want to use it more than one place because that's going to create unity. It's going to carry the eye through the piece. So I'm going to go ahead and take that same color and I'm going to put it in at least 2 more places so that I have a way to have the eye get drawn across my painting. So I put it there, and I know that my camera's set up kind of funny right now, so it's hard for me to be completely in view. So I'm just going to move those a little bit and move this up, which is kind of in a weird situation. I'm going to move my camera. And that's just because I didn't want to get, ooh, I dragged that through there. I didn't want to get a shadow, so I'm trying to figure out how to use my camera in this direction. But I'm struggling. That's okay. So I've painted that in 2 spots here. So I'm going to go ahead and move my painting so that you guys can have it in another spot. And I'm going to use a larger section here with the same color so that it pulls it through. I like to do things in 3s. 3s, actually I like to do things in odd numbers, but 3s tend to be my favorite. But 3s, 5s, 7s, it's a really nice way to balance your artwork. It is the division of the space when you use the rule of thirds or triptychs, or it's more pleasing to the eye. So I've got 3 spaces now that have that same color on them. You can see that. And now I'm going to rinse my brush because I did have a little bit of a tint there. I'm going to try to get some of that color off of it. And now I'm going to go directly into the color in my watercolor palette that I used. It's off camera, I'm sorry. It's off camera, but I'm using the same color, but I'm going straight from the palette just to show you the change that's going to happen in the intensity. So now this is going to be way more intense because I haven't thinned it down with water and I didn't add any white to it. So I'm just showing you that this is something that you can do, and you can change the saturation of the color by painting directly from the paint palette as opposed to watering it down in the satellite palette that I can provide for you. So this is what you're going to do once you're done with your drawing and have all the inking done, where you have all of the little pooling and you show some line variety, and then you're going to go ahead and add your paint. So kind of fun to be painting the second day of class. I hope most of you will get to that today in the second day of class. If not, you'll be getting to it next week, and you can watch this video in all of its glory, right, then when you're ready.